In this Business English Masterclass, you're going to learn how to sound fluent and professional in the workplace. Welcome back to JForrest English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. First, in this masterclass, you're going to learn common business English expressions, and there'll be a quiz at the end. Let's talk about due diligence. Due diligence. Have you heard this before? Due diligence is the concept of doing very thorough research or investigation before making a decision. For example, before signing the contract, make sure you do your due diligence. And remember, due diligence, that's simply the research and investigation before signing the contract. So that's the decision you're about to make, the decision to sign the contract. Do your due diligence. Now, don't be confused here because the verb I just used is do. You do due diligence. Do is the casual verb. You can also use a more formal verb such as conduct due diligence. For example, before you accept the job offer, you should conduct extensive due diligence on the company. So you should research the company, you should investigate the company, and you should do that thoroughly to make sure you're making the right decision. So you can do due diligence or you can conduct due diligence. Now let's talk about a win-win situation. This is a situation in which all parties benefit. You win, I win, it's a win-win. For example, subscribing to this YouTube channel is a win-win situation. You win because you get to watch all of this amazing content to help you improve your English for free. And I win because by subscribing, that tells YouTube that this is a popular channel, a popular video, and YouTube will recommend it to more people. So it's a win-win situation. So make sure you subscribe, comment, like, share this video with your friends for that win-win situation. In a business context, you should also be asking yourself the question, how can I make this a win-win? You don't have to add the word situation. Native speakers will commonly drop it. How can I make this a win-win? If I ask my boss for a promotion, how can I make that a win-win? If you can make it a win-win and you can explain the reasons why your boss will win and you will win, well then they're more likely to give you the promotion. And if you think it's a win-win, then put that in the comments. Jennifer, it's a win-win. Subscribing to this YouTube channel is a win-win. Jennifer, it's a win-win. Put that in the comments. Let's talk about to break the ice. When you break the ice, you initiate a conversation and you do that for the first time. This is used in both social settings like a party or a business setting like before a meeting or a conference. And when you break the ice, it's so you can have that initial conversation and get rid of that awkwardness when you're at a party or a meeting and you don't really know everyone there. So that's why at the beginning of a meeting or a conference, they'll often have some activities planned simply to help you break the ice. Or your boss might say, make sure you break the ice before you pitch them the product. So you don't want to start the meeting by saying, this is my product, you should buy it. You want to have some conversation first. You want to break the ice. Our next expression is to close the deal. This is when you finalize and secure a business agreement. So it means everything is complete, it's a done deal. So your boss could ask you, did you close the deal? They want to know if they've signed the contract and they're officially a customer. But maybe you reply and say, not yet, they're still doing their due diligence. Remember, you do due diligence. And then you can question, how can we make this a win-win situation so they'll want to close the deal? Are you enjoying this lesson? If you are, then I want to tell you about the Finally Fluent Academy. This is my premium training program where we study native English speakers from TV, the movies, YouTube, and the news so you can improve your listening skills of fast English, expand your vocabulary with natural expressions, and learn advanced grammar easily. Plus, you'll have me as your personal coach. You can look in the description for the link to learn more, or you can go to my website and click on Finally Fluent Academy. Now let's continue with our lesson. Now let's talk about cutting edge. This is an adjective that's often used to describe products or entire companies. If something's cutting edge, it means it's at the forefront of technology and innovation. You might say, I love working for a cutting edge company, a company that's always at the forefront, the very top of technology and innovation. Or you could say the research team is known for developing cutting edge technology. So they develop technology, but it's cutting edge. It's at the forefront of innovation and technology. Our next expression is in the pipeline. When something is in the pipeline, it means it's being developed or planned. So you might ask a company or a team or even a person, do you have any projects in the pipeline? And you're asking them if they have anything that's currently being developed or planned. Are you working on anything new? Do you have anything in the pipeline? Or you might say, let's meet tomorrow to discuss how to finalize everything in the pipeline. Because remember, the things that are in the pipeline, they're in progress. They're currently being developed. They're not final yet. And when they are, hopefully they're cutting edge. I love this next expression, to hit the ground running. This is when you start a project or task with a lot of energy and enthusiasm. And I personally always hit the ground running with new projects and tasks. I also love when my students hit the ground running. For example, Sherry just joined the Finally Fluent Academy. This is my premium program. She just joined the Finally Fluent Academy and she hit the ground running. So she started the program with a lot of energy and enthusiasm. She already started reviewing the lessons. She joined our private community. She's submitting exercises for feedback. She's interacting with the other students. She hit the ground running. Now let's talk about the idiom to put all your eggs in one basket. Have you heard this before? This is when you rely on only one strategy or one idea. So if your eggs are in one basket and you drop that basket, all your eggs will break, right? Because of that, we commonly use this expression in the negative. You shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. So if a friend tells you they want to invest all their money, not just some of their money, all their money in one single stock or investment strategy, you might say you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket. Or you could say, it's always good to have multiple projects in the pipeline so you don't have all your eggs in one basket. Because if one of those ideas in the pipeline fails, you have other ideas. So that's always a great idea. Let's talk about to be a team player. This describes someone who works well with others in a group. What about you? Are you a team player? Put it in the comments if you are. I know many people have difficulty with this. They have difficulty working with others in a group. So be honest, are you a team player? I could say, I love working with Julio. He's such a team player. Or I could say, Michelle's extremely smart and well qualified, but she's not a team player. So I don't think she's ready for a management position. Because if you're in a management position, you need to be a team player. So don't forget this very valuable skill. Let's talk about to raise the bar. When you raise the bar, you take your standards or your expectations and you raise them. So you have higher standards, higher expectations. I could say that Apple raised the bar on what a cell phone can do. Before Apple, our expectations for cell phones was about here. Now our standards and expectations are up here. And that's because of Apple, in my opinion. Or you could say their products are cutting edge. They've really raised the bar when it comes to home security equipment. So they've raised the expectation or standards, but specific to home security equipment. So are you ready for your quiz to see how well you know these business expressions? Here are the questions. Hit pause, take as much time as you need, and when you're ready to see the answers, hit play. How did you do on that quiz? Well, let's find out. Here are the answers. Hit pause, take as much time as you need to review them, and when you're ready to continue, hit play. So how'd you do with that quiz? Share your score in the comments. And now let's move on, and you're going to learn 14 full phrases that you can use in the workplace to sound like a leader. Number 1, feel free to ask me anything. Now notice you're learning a complete phrase, so pay attention to all the words. The prepositions, the articles, the sentence structure matters. So notice here we have feel free plus infinitive. The infinitive is of course to plus the base verb. Feel free to ask me anything. This is used as a polite, open-ended invitation. I'm inviting you to ask me whatever you'd like. Remember, you can change that verb. I could say, feel free to send me the report when it's ready. This sounds polite and professional. And remember, it's an open invitation. You're not required to do this, it's an option. If you say, send me the report when it's done, this is the imperative, and it's direct and also authoritative. So to sound polite and professional and to give you an open invitation, I can say, feel free to download the free lesson PDF. You can find the link in the description. And this is a real example because I summarized everything from this lesson in the free lesson PDF. Feel free to download it. Number 2, I look forward to hearing your thoughts. So your colleague could say to you, feel free to send me the report when it's done. And then when it's done, you can send it to your colleague and say, here you go. I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Notice our sentence structure. Look forward to plus gerund, your verb in ing. I look forward to hearing. Don't make this mistake. Make sure you have the gerund. And this is a polite way to show your interest. So in this case, your interest in hearing the person's thoughts, their ideas, their opinions, their feedback. You could say, I look forward to meeting, our verb in ing. I look forward to meeting you tomorrow. Now with this structure, you can also use a noun. I look forward to our meeting. That's the noun form. I look forward to our meeting tomorrow. What about you? Are you looking forward to my next lesson? If you are, put yes, yes, yes to show your interest, show your enthusiasm, put yes, yes, yes in the comments. Number 3, here's my take on it. One's take on something is one's opinion on something. So my take on it is simply my opinion on it. For example, I just read the consultant's recommendations. Here's my take on them. Them because recommendations is plural. Now, when I want to share my opinion, my take, I can simply use an opinion word. I think she raised some valid points. Now, I can use this as a question. What's your take on the report, on the recommendations? Number 4, from my perspective. Now, this is the same as in my opinion, but notice that preposition difference. From my perspective, in my opinion. So I see a lot of mistakes when students try to use this. If someone asks you your opinion, what's your take on it? You can use this to start. From my perspective, I think the consultant's recommendations aren't practical. So here you can add on I think, an opinion word, even though you use from my perspective, but it's optional. And after you share your opinion, you can invite the other person to provide their opinion. What about you? What's your perspective? Number 5, can you help me understand? This is a polite way to ask for clarification or an explanation. Your colleague could say, from my perspective, the consultant's recommendations aren't practical. You could comment on this and say, I see, interesting, oh really? And then you can add on this expression. Can you help me understand your perspective, your opinion? Can you help me understand? This is a great expression if you want an explanation without sounding very direct or authoritative or angry. If someone says, I don't think we can meet the deadline, you can say, can you help me understand why? Number 6, I'll get back to you with that information. This is a great one because someone might ask you a question or to provide information and you don't have that information. You don't know the answer. Instead of saying, I don't know, you can say, I'll get back to you with that information. You can provide a time reference if you like. I'll get back to you by the end of the day. So you just gave yourself a deadline. You could say, I'll get back to you in an hour, or I'll get back to you ASAP. What does ASAP mean? This is a very common acronym. Put it in the comments. ASAP, what's the acronym? Put it in the comments. Number 7, can you fill me in? This is a great one. It's a casual way to ask for an update or a summary. You could say to your colleague, I was on another call this morning. Can you fill me in on the staff meeting? Notice here, when I specify the something, the staff meeting, you have to use the additional preposition on. Can you fill me in on the staff meeting? This is often used by one person to request another person provide information to someone else. For example, your boss could say to you, hey Danica, can you fill Raphael in? And then if you want to specify the something, you need that preposition on the new filing system. Number 8, which one would you like me to prioritize? You can use this to clarify which task should be done first, which one you should prioritize when there are multiple tasks. So you can use this with 2 tasks or more than 2 as well. So if you have multiple tasks, you can go to your boss and say, Sarah asked for help on the report and I have to finish the presentation. Which one would you like me to prioritize? So now instead of feeling overwhelmed, you know exactly which task to focus on, to prioritize. You can use this even just to get advice from someone you trust. I could say to you, from your perspective, which one should I prioritize? So you're not my boss, you're not responsible for assigning me tasks, but I trust you to provide me with valuable feedback. Which one should I prioritize from your perspective? Number 9, I trust you have everything you need. The word trust is used a lot in a business context. This is used to express overall confidence in someone and their abilities. So you might come to me and say, Jennifer, I feel a little nervous. This is my first time giving a presentation. And I can let you know that I have confidence in you and your abilities, and I can say, I trust you. Or I can add on to this and I can say, I trust you can handle this. So the statement is, you can handle this. Handle means you have the ability to do it. You can handle this. Now, if I add I trust, it's adding certainty. I'm certain, I know, I trust you can handle this. Number 10, what can we learn from this? Such a powerful question. You can use this to encourage reflection and analysis after a situation, generally a negative situation. So if something negative happened, I didn't get the promotion. You can say, what can I learn from this? Or I failed my IELTS. What can I learn from this? So instead of being upset, angry, mad, now you're thinking about solutions. You're thinking about what you can do differently. This is a great expression to use when you're working with a team. So again, maybe something bad happened. We lost the client. What can we learn from this? And then you can start brainstorming things you can do differently so it doesn't happen again. Now, to change the sentence structure, you could also say, what can this teach us? So notice, you can learn something from someone or something, a situation, but also something, the situation, can teach you something. Number 11, I'm happy to address that. So notice the sentence structure. We have our verb to be, I am happy, our adjective. So you need to conjugate the verb to be. And then you have the infinitive. I'm happy to address that. And this is used to show a willingness to do something. So when your boss asks you to fill Raphael in, you can say, I'm happy to fill Raphael in. And then remember, if you specify the something, you need that extra preposition on the sales process. So you're showing your willingness to do this. This is also a great way to end a presentation or end communication. We're happy to answer any questions you have. So remember that structure, to be happy plus infinitive. Number 12, how can I support you? This is used to offer support, encouragement, assistance, but also to ask how that can be done. Your coworker could be upset and say, I'm so overwhelmed with this project. So you want to show your support. You can say, how can I support you? You can add on, how can I best support you as an intensifier? And then you can even add on your willingness and say, I'm happy to help you in any way I can. You can use this to offer assistance to someone as well. If you know your coworker is very busy, you could say, you have a lot on your plate with this presentation, which means you're very busy. How can I support you? Number 13, I value your input. This is to acknowledge the importance of someone's opinion or ideas. So let's use this right now. How can I make my lessons better? How can I make this lesson better? Or how can I make my lessons overall better? Please share your thoughts in the comments. I value your input. And this isn't just an example, it's 100% true. I really value your input. I truly value your input. So please, if there's anything I can do to improve these lessons for you, I want you to love these lessons. So please put your comments below because I truly value your input. Number 14, I appreciate your hard work on this. Everyone loves to be appreciated, so you can use this to show gratitude, appreciation for someone's work. You can start by complimenting someone. The report looks fantastic. And then add on, I appreciate your hard work on this. Adding that on will make that person feel really valued. Or maybe your friend is planning a party for you and you can say, the menu looks amazing. I appreciate all your hard work on this. You can add all your hard work to intensify it. Now, in the workplace, of course, you need to understand your colleagues, your coworkers, your boss. So you need to improve your listening skills of fast English. That's what we'll practice now, and you'll also learn natural expressions and natural pronunciation. Here's how this lesson will work. I'm going to say a sentence 3 times, and you need to write down exactly what you hear in the comments. After, I'll explain what I said, and I'll explain the pronunciation changes that take place in fast English, and I'll explain the natural expressions that I used. Are you ready for your first listening test? I'll say it 3 times. She's leaps and bounds more qualified than him. She's leaps and bounds more qualified than him. She's leaps and bounds more qualified than him. I said she's leaps and bounds more qualified than him. Notice the contraction, she's. This is she is, the verb to be. Native speakers will always contract this. She's. Let's talk about leaps and bounds. Notice how bounds, the D is not pronounced. Bounds, bounds. And here, when we have and between 2 words, you can reduce that just to leaps and bounds, leaps and bounds, leaps and bounds. She's leaps and bounds more qualified than him. Notice how you don't hear the H on him, than him. But if we want to combine those sounds together and say it like one word, then him. Let's talk about what this means. She's more qualified than him. You understand that. When I add leaps and bounds, this is a modifier. It makes more qualified stronger. So it sounds like greatly more qualified, a lot more qualified. And it can also mean quickly if that's the context. But in this context, it's a modifier that means greatly. So you can say, I've improved my English by leaps and bounds. By leaps and bounds. Here, notice how you have to include the word by. I've improved my English, and you want to modify that improve to make it sound stronger. I've improved my English by leaps and bounds. So write that in the comments if you feel like my lessons are helping you improve your English by leaps and bounds. Jennifer, I've improved my English by leaps and bounds. Put that in the comments.
It's leaps and bounds ahead of mine. Which means
you are just progressing by leaps and bounds.
Virchicon has grown by leaps and bounds.
Let's try this again. I'll say it 3 times. Is the agenda set in stone? Is the agenda set in stone? Is the agenda set in stone? I said, is the agenda set in stone? First, let's talk about the agenda. Notice how I have that long E sound, the agenda, because agenda starts with a vowel. This is not a rule that native speakers always follow. I could equally say the agenda, the agenda, the agenda. So if you hear both, it's just not something a native speaker always does. Let's talk about set in stone. Notice we have a T between 2 vowels. So we can pronounce that T as a soft D, din. So I take that sound and I connect it to the next word in, and it sounds like din, din, set in stone. And I'll say all 3 of those words together because they're an expression. The expression is to be set in stone. In our example, the verb to be is is. It starts the sentence because the sentence is in question form. Is the agenda set in stone? To be set in stone. When something is set in stone, in this case, the agenda, it's in a state that is very difficult, if not impossible, to change. So the agenda could be set in stone because all the speakers are confirmed. You've booked the hotel room. You've already paid for the hotel room. People have already booked their ticket to come to the event. So it's difficult, if not impossible, to change any aspects of the agenda. It's set in stone. We commonly use this expression in the negative to say our plans aren't set in stone. If I say that to you, it means that I can change my plans. So perhaps I told you what my plans are, and then you want to do something different. I can say, oh, don't worry, our plans aren't set in stone. So it's saying I can change my plans are flexible. So you can use this both in the positive or the negative.
Because nothing's set in stone.
Oof, is that set in stone?
These nicknames, are they set in stone?
Let's try this again. I'll say it 3 times. I was tossing and turning all night. I was tossing and turning all night. I was tossing and turning all night. Did you get this one? I said I was tossing and turning all night. We have and, so remember, same thing as before, tossing in, I can change that to but I have to connect it to the word before, tossing and turning. So I will say all 3, tossing and turning, as one word. Tossing and turning, tossing and turning, tossing and turning. Now, commonly, a native speaker will drop the G sound on tossing, ing, and just say tossin', tossin'. I personally don't do this, but many native speakers do. Tossin', tossing, tossin'. But same thing, you have that sound, tossin' and turnin', or like I said, tossing and turning, tossing and turning. The pronunciation is quite clear, but if you don't know what this means, you won't know how to communicate with a native speaker. I was tossing and turning all night. To toss and turn, this is used to say you had a very restless sleep and you were moving a lot. That is the tossing and turning. That's the movement. You were moving a lot while you were sleeping, so you had a restless sleep. If you were tossing and turning all night, it means you had a restless sleep, so it means right now you're tired. You could say, sorry, I'm yawning so much. I tossed and turned all night. And that means you had a terrible sleep, so now you're tired.
That's what's got you tossing and turning.
He's always tossing and turning.
Man, then I spend all night tossing and turning trying to figure out what I should have said.
Are you ready for your next listening exercise? I'll say it 3 times. Just give it a go and see. Just give it a go and see. Just give it a go and see. Did you get this one? I said just give it a go and see. Let's talk about give it. We can combine these together and I'm going to use that v sound. Give it, vit, vit, give it, give it. So that's how I can say these 2 words as one, give it. And I'll do the same thing with a go. I'll just pronounce it as one word, a go. Give it a go. Give it a go. Give it a go. Just give it a go and see. What does this mean? To give something a go simply means to try something. So if I say just give it a go, I'm saying just try it. Maybe your friend invited you to go dancing, but you don't know how to dance. I could say, just give it a go. Now here, the it is dancing. So I could say, just give dancing a go. Just give dancing a go. Remember in the original example, it was just give it a go and see. Here, the see represents and see what happens. See what happens when you try dancing. Maybe you are really good at it, or maybe you're not very good at it, but you had so much fun, you don't even care that you weren't good at it. So if you send me a message and say, Jennifer, I'm not sure if I can give a presentation in English, I'll say to you, just give it a go. So I want you to write in the comments right now, Jennifer, I'll give it a go. I'll give it a go. Put that in the comments. Jennifer, I'll give it a go.
I'll give it a go.
Let's give it a go.
Let's give it a go and see what the future brings.
Let's try this one more time. I'll say it 3 times. We have a lot riding on this pitch. We have a lot riding on this pitch. We have a lot riding on this pitch. I said we have a lot riding on this pitch. Notice when I said the sentence fast, I did not contract we have. I didn't say we've a lot riding on this pitch. I didn't say that. I said we have a lot riding on this pitch. That's because in American English, we do not contract have when have is the main verb. We only contract have when it's an auxiliary verb. I could change this and say we've got a lot riding on this pitch. In this case, have is the auxiliary verb, got is the main verb, so I can form that contraction. We have, we've got a lot riding on this pitch. You're probably wondering what this means. When you have a lot riding on something, it means that something, whatever the something is extremely important to your success, whatever success means to you. Now, in this case, the something is this pitch. This pitch is extremely important to this person's overall success. What does this pitch mean? In the business world, a pitch is a presentation, but the purpose is to convince someone to do something or to buy something. So it's extremely important that this pitch, this presentation, is successful. And it's extremely important for the person's overall success, likely their career success. To use a previous expression that you learned, I was tossing and turning all night thinking about this pitch. My career is riding on it.
Everything is riding on it.
Well, this is it, folks. Everything is riding on this pitch.
So much rides on this.
Now let's do an imitation exercise so you can practice this pronunciation. So I'm going to say each sentence again, but I want you to say the sentence out loud, and then we'll repeat that 3 times. So let's do that now. She's leaps and bounds more qualified than him. She's leaps and bounds more qualified than him. She's leaps and bounds more qualified than him. Is the agenda set in stone? Is the agenda set in stone? Is the agenda set in stone? I was tossing and turning all night. I was tossing and turning all night. I was tossing and turning all night. Just give it a go and see. Just give it a go and see. Just give it a go and see. We have a lot riding on this pitch. We have a lot riding on this pitch. We have a lot riding on this pitch. Now in this masterclass, let's focus on the job interview, because even if you have a great job now, you're going to want to find a different one or get a promotion or have a new position. So you're going to learn 12 great phrases that you can use in a job interview, and you can also use these phrases elsewhere in meetings and professional situations. The first great thing I want you to say in a job interview right at the beginning of the interview is, "First, I would like to thank you for this opportunity." You should say this right at the beginning because expressing gratitude, "I would like to thank you," expressing gratitude makes a great first impression. You should also say this because expressing gratitude, it helps build rapport, which means build a positive relationship, build rapport with the interviewer. Now you can say first, you could also say first off, firstly, or before we begin. And notice the grammar here. I would like plus infinitive to thank you plus for, and then you need a noun or a gerund. In my example, I used a noun. Thank you for this opportunity. You could also say, firstly, I would like to thank you for meeting with me. So notice here, meeting is the gerund. Now, I want you to think about how you can use these phrases outside of a job interview, maybe at a networking event, a meeting, or imagine if I began this lesson today by saying, "Before we begin this lesson, I would like to thank you for supporting my channel. Your support means so much to me. Now, let's start the lesson." Remember how I said that can help build rapport. You may feel a deeper connection to me because I expressed my gratitude and it was sincere. So think about how you can use these expressions in other situations. And if you agree that this is a great way to start an interview, a lesson, a presentation, put "that's right," put "that's right" in the comments. And don't worry about taking notes because I summarize everything in a free lesson PDF. You can find the link in the description. Number 2, I have researched your company and I'm impressed. This shows your interest in the specific company. You're not just applying because it's a job, you're truly interested in the company. And also complimenting the company by saying I'm impressed, that's a compliment, it's a positive comment. Complimenting the company, it also helps build rapport with the interviewer because who doesn't like being complimented? Just one note, you must personalize this based on the specific company. So let's say you're applying for a position in my company for this YouTube channel. You could say, I have researched the JForrest English YouTube channel and I'm impressed that you increased your subscriber count by 400% in 8 months. Now grammatically notice, to be impressed plus that, it's optional, and then a clause, a subject, a verb, and an object. I'm impressed that you increased your subscriber count. That's the clause, a subject, a verb, and an object. You could also say, I have researched the JForrest English YouTube channel and I'm impressed by the number of videos you've created. 1,200 videos is an accomplishment. Notice here, to be impressed by plus noun, by the number of videos. But then I went on to make it specific and I referenced the specific number of videos. Number 3, I'm excited to be considered for this role because it perfectly aligns with my passion for. This shows your interest in the specific role again. And also, hiring managers, they love people who are passionate about their work, who don't just see it as something to finish as quickly as possible, who truly enjoy doing the work. That's why this is a smart thing to say. Notice here, I'm excited to be considered for this role because it perfectly aligns with my passion for graphic design or maybe creating stunning graphics. Here, to perfectly align, this is another way of saying it's a perfect match. It's a perfect fit. In a job interview or in a more formal presentation or formal setting, it's best to use more advanced words or to add adjectives to basic words to make them sound stronger. And that's what you're doing here by saying it perfectly aligns. Now, notice here, my passion for, you can have a noun, my passion for graphic design, or you can have a gerund, a verb in ing. My passion for creating stunning graphics. And again, add an adjective like stunning to help make the language sound more advanced. Number 4, I have a proven track record. Do you know what a track record is? This is a record of past accomplishments, past successes. Grammatically, you would say I have a proven track record of plus gerund. For example, I have a proven track record of delivering financial reports on time. Or I have a proven track record of helping YouTube channels like mine increase their subscribers by 100% in 90 days. Again, always be as specific as possible with the results or outcomes you can achieve once hired. Number 5, this definitely describes you. I'm committed to continuously learning and improving my expertise. Grammatically, the structure is to be committed to plus a gerund verb, your verb in ing. This is a great thing to say because I'm committed. It's strong language that leaders use. So if you use this language, you sound like a leader. Now, continuously, this is an adverb, and this is important because it means now and in the future. One's expertise, this is a more advanced way of saying one's skills and qualifications. And this is a great thing to say because hiring managers love people who want to keep learning and improving. The fact that you're constantly improving your English language skills is a positive thing. Managers love people who love learning. Number 6, I value feedback as it helps me grow and improve. This is a smart thing to say because hiring managers love people who can take criticism. Feedback is a positive way of saying criticism. If I tell you you didn't do a good job, you can take that feedback, you can accept it and learn from it. And notice here grammatically, I value, you can use a noun, I value feedback, or you can use a gerund verb. I value receiving feedback as it helps me grow and improve. As is another way of saying because. Personally, I find it sounds more formal because is used in everyday speech, as isn't as commonly used, so it sounds more formal. And here, providing the reason, it makes it seem more believable. I value receiving feedback as I'm committed to continuous growth. So here, notice we're using to be committed to, and in this case, I used continuous, which is an adjective, now and in the future. Number 7, although I haven't had the opportunity to manage a team yet. I'm motivated and eager to develop my skills in this area. This is a longer sentence, but notice the different parts. First, we have although I haven't had the opportunity to do. You need an infinitive here. And then add the word yet because this is in the present perfect. Now, your infinitive to do could be to prepare financial reports, to create a database, to conduct market research, whatever fits the position you're hiring for. And add the word yet because it implies it's still possible for you to do the action because this is an unfinished timeline. The second part of this sentence is I'm motivated and eager to develop my skills in this area. You can be specific and say to develop my writing skills, research skills, or leadership skills. And this is smart because hiring managers love people who want to keep learning and improving, just like you. So put that's right, put that's right in the comments. Number 8, I'm confident I can add value to your company. Again, saying I'm confident, this is strong language that leaders use. The structure is to be confident plus clause. Remember, a clause is a subject, verb, and object. Now, be as specific as possible about the value you can provide. For example, I'm confident I can grow your YouTube channel by 100% in 90 days. If someone sent this to me as an email, I would want to meet with that person. Number 9, I strongly believe I am the best candidate for this position. Don't be shy in an interview to tell the person that they should hire you. But there's a way to do it that sounds very professional and confident. And by saying I strongly believe is the way to do that because this is strong language that leaders use and the hiring manager will respect your confidence. This is great for the end of the interview after you've provided specific examples of how you can add value. If you use this more at the beginning of an interview, make sure you share actual examples of how you can accomplish this and how you can be the best candidate. Now let's imagine it's the end of the interview and it's your turn to ask the interviewer a question. You can say, number 10, what's the most important goal you would like me to achieve once I'm hired? This is a smart thing to say because once you know the answer, you can share how you're the right person to achieve it. And you can make sure that you're telling the interviewer the exact priority and how you have the skills and experience to achieve that. Now notice here, I said, once I'm hired. This assumes the job is mine. Grammatically, you can say if I'm hired, but if you say that, it sounds like there's a chance someone else will be hired. And you always want to speak as though the position is yours. Number 11, before we end, I would love to add one thing, if that's all right with you. This is smart because it gives you the opportunity to clarify, correct, or add important information. For example, if you really didn't like how you answered one of the questions, now is the time to provide more information on that specific question. And by phrasing it as a question, if that's all right with you, this is a sign of politeness and respect. And don't worry, the interviewer will say, absolutely, please go ahead. Now notice grammatically, I would love plus infinitive. We have to add, to clarify, to highlight. You can use other word choices. Make sure it's in the infinitive. And at the very end of the interview, you can say, number 12, thank you again for taking the time to meet with me. This ends the interview on a positive note. Thank you sounds more formal than thanks. Of course, you can say thanks, but thank you sounds more formal. Thank you again, because you already expressed thanks at the beginning. Thank you again for plus gerund. You could say thank you again for giving me the opportunity to interview for this position. Thank you again for considering me for this position. There are absolutely many different things you can say. Make sure you're following the correct grammatical structure. Do you want me to make more lessons just like this? If you do, put masterclass, masterclass, put masterclass in the comments. And of course, make sure you like this lesson, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can click here to download it or look for the link in the description. And I have another masterclass I know you'll love, so make sure you watch it right now.